You know, it's one of those days that I really wish I had brought my fishing magnet, because that is one of those mechanical scooters. It's just there. Yeah. What's up, you guys? Chet-Guthrie, the Dream Poet here, coming to you all once again from Nashville, Tennessee. To be more specific, we are out here at Nashville Centennial Park. Now, for a few months from May of 1896 to about October of 1896, this is where the Tennessee Centennial Exposition happened. What it was a big celebration that commemorated Tennessee's existence for 100 years. This entire park, it was an entire plaza dedicated to all the very weird and strange things that makes this state so cool. And while we're out here today, since we are at this pond, there is a lot of interesting history about this pond right here. You see this pond, it is all man-made. And way back when, during the exposition of 1896, they had a small boat that used to ferry people around the entire park. And as we're walking, I'm going to show you all some of the leftovers from this history. And we're going to explore a little bit more about this area. Because if you are from the state of Tennessee, you will know that the Centennial Park is also where the Parthenon is. As you all notice, it gets rather narrow as it reaches this end. Well, if I'm not mistaken, this is where the boats would meet up. You would board them, and it would take you around the park. So I'm thinking. I mean, that's always as I've seen it on maps and whatnot. This right here is where the people would board the boats. This is where you would get in, and this is where they would ferry you around the park. Now, obviously, they have it gated off, and I really don't think you would want to swim in that. That's pretty cold. So, you gotta think in another time, in another era, 1896, 1897. You gotta think what was here. And right next to it, here is a giant obelisk dedicated to the founder of James Robertson, the founder of Nashville. As was said by the founder, we are the advance guard of civilization. Our way is across the continent. And I think this is more quotes from him as well. I'm thinking this monument was here during the exposition as well. There is one building that was here at the exposition that got torn down later in the early 1900s when this was commemorated as a park. And if you can believe it, there was a pyramid here. And I'm believing, based on what I saw on the map, in this circle right here, this is where the pyramid once stood. Now the pyramid, I think the only way you could enter it was through the water. That was, again, a reason why they had the gondolas that would ferry you like right along here. And anyway, sadly it is no longer with us, but there are some remains of it. At least that's one good thing about it. And over there on that island, I think that is a series of beehives. I mean, in a way it kind of looks like graves, but no, those are beehives. Now, other than the pyramid, they had quite a few more buildings from the Centennial, or I should say from the exposition. However, a lot of these buildings, like the pyramid, were torn down, but that is a good example of what they did have during this great festival. And here's that pyramid as well. I kind of wish that they could have saved it, because that would have been super cool. By the way, the pond used to be way bigger. I think it was like called Lake Watauga. As you all can see, this is a bridge. And if you notice, there is obviously what remains of a pond. You can kind of see it even right there in that smaller bridge. Now, I don't think that the gondolas would have gone through here. I just don't see it happening. But let's check out this bridge right here. Yeah, this bridge is from the is from that exposition. A bridge that is close to 200 years old at this point right now. Looks like people have been doing that lock thing. I forgot what it means exactly, but yeah. So let's check out the rest of what was once the exposition. Correction, the boats may have actually gone under this, because looks like this was dammed at one point. Very sad. Well, now this is a very, very weird looking tree. Why I say that is look at the knots. Look at the burls. I'd say this tree, oh look, a squirrely squirrel. Looks like a fat squirrel too. But as I was saying, you guys, this kind of reminds me of another picture from the exposition. It was a small like tree cabin thing. There were a couple of kids in it. Kind of wondering if we're actually not far from that, because this tree looks like it's been here for a while. Since we are here in this area, I figured we'd see another two monuments that are not exactly from the exposition, but they do have a lot of importance. And this first one is, well, dedicated to the women's right to vote. At the base of this this monument, you have some of the names like Carrie Chapman Catt and Alice Dudley. Around here there should be another name, Sue Shelton White, and I do think that there are just a couple more names. Yeah, there are. Mary Abigail Crawford Milton, and let's see what this last name is here. Juno Frankie Pierce. Now let's check out this sculpture. This is really, really cool. This is, I think this is cast bronze, cast brass. Votes for women right there. Let's see what hers says. Liberty, justice, equal suffrage. I wonder how much brass it took to make some of these. And Nashville equal. And now this is probably perhaps one of the best preserved buildings from the exposition of 1897, and that is of course the Parthenon. Now if you live in the state of Tennessee and you have been to Nashville, well, this is kind of a must. It is very large, and the interior of it is pretty nice. They actually have an Athena statue in there. And probably here later on we're gonna go inside. But before we do that, let's check out this other monument. Now I know somewhere there is a name dedicated to this statue, but I'm having trouble thinking about it at the moment. In the comments below, let me know. Kind of looks like people have been touching his hands, so I know there's got to be a great deal of importance in that. Just check out the rock work in that. I really like how they have that coming up to the top. Again, we have another, oh, this is what it is about. John W. Thomas, 1830 to 1906, a native of Nashville, 48 years in the service. Oh, so he is erected because his, so he is quite important. Now, cool thing about this this replica of the Parthenon is it is an exact replica, replicated down to the last quarter. Now, of course, well, not quarter, down to the last inch. There we go. Of course, the one in Greece is not as articulated as this one. I mean, check that out. That must have taken a lot of painstaking. A lot of spacing, what do you call it, crafting, because those things are huge. Those things probably stand about as tall, well, way taller than I am. But here on these stairs we can get a better picture of Athena, the goddess of wisdom, and it feels like I've stepped back in time. This is pretty cool. Yeah, looks like we can only enter on the lower levels, but Well, I guess you can't really see Athena through this one. But check out these columns. Now, I think these aren't, well, wait. No, they're made out of actual concrete and whatnot. This thing is huge. And it is probably the last really great, just really great piece of architecture from a really cool historical event in Tennessee state history. And now on this end, I believe this is probably the best way to see Athena. Well, if not, check out the size of those big giant doors. Those things are freaking huge. I mean, those things probably stand about a good 40-50 feet. That's large. Very big. So you know what, you guys? I think it is time we head into the Parthenon. It's cool inside. It's actually been a while since I've been in there. And here we go, you guys. And first thing we see, this is Nashville's Parthenon. It was built in 1897, and it is, as we talked about outside, it is an exact replica by about 2,500 years if you want to get technical. And through this hallway, they do have old school pictures. That is, I guess, from when it was becoming a park. Here's the interior. There are artifacts from 1931 to the present, and this is how it was all constructed. They did it all by concrete, if I do believe. They did it with these scaffolds, these molds, and even here there's some stuff from the original fragments. And that is when they were, well, building the Parthenon. So I guess, you guys, let's take a few more. Ooh, that is so cool. Rebuilding in the 1920s. Again, there's another building which has been lost. That one right there. Here's some little souvenirs from the Centennial. I'm not sure if this was found by metal detecting or if this is just some various stuff that people had. I think this is just some stuff that people had, or probably came from a storage somewhere. And now, wouldn't you have loved to have rode something like that? That looks like, in today's standards, that would probably kill somebody. And it looks like they even had a boat shoot way back when. I think I know where that's at. I think we already saw that, but if not, well, we'll check it out later. Here are some more artifacts. I'm not sure where, well, looks like this building, this was, oh, looks like, well, yeah, that is a really amazing building. I'll leave it at that. They even have some old school pottery. Well, not really pottery, glasswork. By the way, if anybody is curious, again, here is the pyramid again. I really wish that they had managed to save that, but they didn't. It looks like we have some more commemorative metals and silverware. Oh wow, that is some beautiful art. And looks like this silver set belonged to E.C. Lewis, Director General, as the General of the Tennessee Centennial Exposition. The very guy who organized all this. And as I was stating earlier, they had a lot more buildings that were later torn down. This is another example of that. And again, another example. Again, another lost relic. Also, here are another few pictures of the gondola boats from the time.
I may be wrong.
I think that that Castle Theater, well, no, that Castle Theater was gone too. Now that is big. That's a lot of silver too. Now, if you don't know what the statue looks like, this is like a I'm guessing probably 1/30th scale. Now this is what it used to look like back in the early 2000s. It was given a paint job. You'll see that when we get up there, but really neat, really fascinating. And they have a really, really small crane. I suppose this is how they did it way back when. Yes, 5th century BC. This is how the original Parthenon was built. Well, you guys, up through here, we have what we came here to see. Here, in this big, giant room. If you're not careful, you might get vertigo. But yeah, that thing probably stands about, well, I should say not that thing, that statue of Athena stands, I'm guessing, probably at least a good maybe 80, 100 feet tall. Just check out the size of this room, equally as large. Again, those are some really big doors. Now, just like what they did with the outside, they really put into a lot of work, especially on the foundation. That is really fascinating. And that shield is probably about as big of a slice of sequoia tree. That's very beautiful. Again, I'm kind of stuck in the realm of this is really dang big. And to be more precise, it's about 15 feet in diameter. So yes, this thing is very large. Now, if this also looks familiar to you guys, if you all have seen the 2010 movie Percy Jackson and the Olympians, I think it was actually filmed here, or at least based on here. Either way, there was like a big giant hydra that just popped out of all this, and it was a little bit freaky, even for me that was 18 years old at the time. Actually, me being 30 now, that would actually still kind of weird me out. Huh. Never thought of it that way before. I just noticed this too, but look at the artwork that they have in that shield as well. And that is a big snake. So if you have a snake problem, yeah. Now this makes me a little bit uncomfortable. This kind of reminds me of Ghost Hunter. Well, not Ghost Hunters, Ghostbusters. You know, there is only Zool. Only Zool. Or better yet, these things are known as griffins. Apparently, apparently they protected a stream north of Greece that allegedly flowed with gold. And now we will enter this room. And this, I believe, no, I think these are, I don't think these are actually real from the actual Parthenon. I think these may have actually been from, or no, I think these are recasts. I know there's a sign that kind of talks about it. Check out the size of those doors. Once again, it looks like people have been touching the lion's nose. Very shiny. And very large, too. This thing's about as big as my head. And over here, it looks like they have more plaster or casts from the original Parthenon. Looks like that one's been cracked. And again, they don't got no heads. I guess you could say they never really got a head in life. And I guess that one guy's like Johnny Tremaine, he ain't got no hands. And I'm starting to see a theme here. This kind of reminds you of that one movie where that one gangster forgot to pay the other gangster get back, and he found a horse head in his bed. Okay, that was really cool. The last time I was in the Parthenon was, I think, about 7 or 8 years ago. Last time it was about 2015, right? 2016. But anyway, you guys, another fun vlog. Remember, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Always means a lot. Goes to show that y'all care and that y'all want to see more awesome videos. So without further ado, you guys, vlog over.